We are back. We'll see how things go tonight. A bunch of stuff updated, a bunch of mods updated, a bunch of software updated. Had to reinstall a couple things. We'll see how it goes. It may work, it may not. Yeah. It's another nighttime stream start. Episode 6. We got I did some greebling. Actually, I did more than greeble. I also added a second stack on the tank. So basically, I left all the stuff the way it was, all the anchor blocks. I just ground away the wheels, put another tank, ground it back, because we were sitting, once I had everything else on here so far, we were sitting with the water line hitting right around here-ish, and I wanted it a little bit lower. It's because once cargo ends up on things, try to get that side of it. Once cargo ends up on things, it's gonna weigh it down some. And right now we're bobbing pretty aggressively in the tide, but that's also because we're kind of winched down a tad hard. And space engineers and arresting forces, and blah 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 blah. It is what it is. So, there's that. Anyway, this is all set up. I've got the electronics to deploy the drill set up. I just haven't programmed them yet. I think that's right. I haven't gotten to look at the save all week. It's been such a ridiculous, nutty garbage week at work that I've just been completely and totally dead. So that's why the Greebling's not finished yet. We're not fully built yet. But, we got stuff. We got a bit of a color scheme going on too. So, I did set up a collector down here. This may get pushed further, we'll see. It does just enough collection to run hydrogen up into a tank here, which is mostly used for jetpack refueling. There's a refill station here. It refills hydrogen, it refills power. That's about all it's good for. That's about all it needs to be good for. Okay. So, we got that. Some other minor... Whoop, overshot that. I love when I hear random clunks from off screen. Minor updates to the duck boat. We didn't have guns on it. I was getting a little concerned we might be getting close to go time, and I wanted to have something going. So we've got this nice little assault cannon turret here. It's currently offline, and I've got these two interior turrets. They've been programmed up. The interiors have ammo in them, and we got a couple rounds of the assault cannon turret, but not that much. I did also retrofit this from hydrogen to gasoline to match the crab, and so we ended up more space, and we're a little uneven on balance as a result, but it is what it is. I put a little temporary landing gear on the front just so we can move this out. Turns out the duck boat can move this around, which is kind of cool. The crab also can, surprisingly easily. And I've got some temporary landing gear on its claws too. I haven't decided if we're going to use it to move it in place. I might just use the boat because it'll be easier. Yeah, we'll kind of see how that goes. Need to get more light. As far as other things go, I spent like 60... I sold 60,000 copper to get needed parts for that. Because I'm like, I'm gonna decorate this up a little bit. We're gonna put like some tarps. We're gonna put some cargo nets strung up under here, and that all requires canvas, and canvas uses a lot of synthetics. And so about 45,000 of the copper that was sold went to make one cargo net and one tarp, and the other ones aren't finished yet because I got tired of taking boatloads of copper to sell. So once this is in place, we're gonna move this out. We're gonna anchor it, get it going, so we can start working on refining our own stuff and be done with it. Because I don't wanna not doing it anymore. Not for something like fabric. Other changes. Let's go over here to our list of things. So, no more deaths. As you can see, I still have all of my buffs. So, Immediate tasks, still consider the battle crab. I don't know if I want to convert the crab over to battle crab, or if I want to make, like, mini crabs that just kind of skitter around with guns. I haven't decided yet. I gotta play with that in creative mode to do some tests, I think, for how AI works. I did unbeach the oil rig. I used the crab for that, actually. I grabbed a hold with the little claw things. It just lifted it and just pushed it out, and it worked beautifully. So the crab has value. Pardon me. So that's all been done. Fix the drill rail. So let's go take a look at the main tunnel into Hat Mountain here, because fixing the drill rail and laying the floors, these are related things. That's the wrong button. I meant to hit L, not K. I want to turn my lights on. There we go. See if I can not crash into the ground. So, I've laid some floor. I haven't welded any of it. There's so much concrete and girders here that we're going to need. I think what I'm going to do is wait until the asphalt driveway is done and then use that to ferry parts up here. Currently, because of the Apex Survival update, the AI-enabled mod has some issues still, but I kind of think I want to get a repair bot once that's fixed and have it just focus on welding up all these floors. But as we run back here, and we're going to do this on jetpack because it is 1.2 kilometers deep into this tunnel. It's nighttime, I can't see anything. There should be nothing I can crash into, but you never know. Sometimes stuff happens. So, this is the hole. This is where we had fallen. The tunnel, the drill had come off the track. It had derailed and fallen into this hole, right? So from here, we're just going to do a little /GPS. I want to show you how far we actually had to go. And the fact that it's nighttime makes this so much better. Here's how far it had to go to complete the tunnel before it fell. $57 meters. It wasn't even... I mean, technically it was like 30 some odd to actually breaking through. But to full surface, and of course, it just kind of fell off, and it made a mess. That's fine. We'll either figure out a use for this, or I will just pour concrete in this and fill it up like a giant sinkhole. But apparently, the capacitor on this thing kept enough power going that it just toppled off because the projector ran out of rail at the end. It didn't break. The projector hit its end for the rail, and it just kept pushing and tumbled off, and then just kept drilling until it ran out of power. So I do need to recover that at some point. But if we turn on our GPS for the iron where we located it, right, like it's over that way. So we could set up a pipeline and do some stuff for iron. Related to that, Industrial Overhaul did have an update. It had an update after last week. So if I had streamed last week, I could have benefited from the pre-nerf, because it nerfed some stuff. It nerfed the efficacy of stone for getting some things and some other stuff. So we definitely are going to have to focus on getting mainline materials going sooner rather than later, just to keep our industrialization going. Let's see. Can we track? No, we can't track things yet. It's not working for me right now. That was working, but now it's not. Coming soon is going to be the ability to track your own multiple grids on things, and that's going to be pretty cool. I've got to turn off iron because I'm bad at this. So we've got iron here. We do need to either get copper from the other side of the mountain or from down that way. This may be a scenario where we take parts in a boat and like the crab, and then just climb the shores up to a copper deposit, set up a line, let it run, hope it doesn't get attacked, and come back and retrieve them. Because I don't see any other option here. And what do you want? You've already gotten your treats. No, We're not doing more treats right now. You have your dinner right there. You can eat your dinner. Just because I'm talking on camera doesn't mean you get more treats. Cats, man. Cats. So anyway, there is that. I don't know if I want to try to get cobalt from over here near the AHE headquarters, or if I want to try to go for the deep trench for it and just do it underwater so it's safe. We don't need a whole lot of cobalt right now. We will once we get into heavy armor, though. So that's going to depend on some things. So we'll see how that goes. But that's all that. So I am having thoughts about potentially leveling where the oil rig is going to anchor its bed with concrete, because it's not super level right now, and I don't know why I'm flying out there to show you all, because it's middle of the night. You're not going to see anything anyway. Let's just refill our tanks and get working on things. We want to move this out, get it going, get its stuff done, get it anchored, and then program, if I didn't yet, all the controllers for things. Because I'm pretty sure I didn't do that. Let me check my notes list. Did I do that? No. I set up to do it and then didn't do it. Okay. That answers that question. Let's get our boat. Let's do our things. I do have bad news, though. And that's AI blocks don't handle the balloons, which I kind of suspected might be the case. But AI blocks cannot handle operating the balloons. They don't have any concept for how to do it. They don't understand. Yeah. I went and built some test drones, and they don't work. So like, you can kind of set up like a drone to follow a path, but it has a bad time whenever the height changes. So we can't really automate using balloons to ferry stuff. So there's that. Yeah. But we can automate a boat. AI works really well with boats, which means we may end up changing some things up for how we load and unload stuff, and rather than a little on the extra bouncy side. So tell you what, we're gonna wait right here, and I'm gonna unanchor this thing, and then we're gonna work on that part. That sounds good, right? Yeah. I think the issue is I last anchored this at low tide, so with the tide coming up, it's a little bit bouncier. And we're just gonna walk onto the front here. Yeah, we're just gonna lock onto the front. Nice and easy. Okay, we're locked. Can I swing us? Maybe. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We got it. Let's turn on the GPS point for oil. It's already on. Of course it is. I just turned it off. We're going to push this out where it needs to go. And then once it's there, we'll use the boat to kind of keep it in place with the dampers, and dive down to the bottom and see if we can figure out a good spot to do this, because I didn't mark the middle of the oil, I marked the edge, and there may be a flatter spot. It would be nice if I could maintain like the anchor heights independently, you know, and have them all like in the same, but not if it was a relatively level surface on the seabed. We'll see how that goes. We do probably also need to work on weapons for this thing, because I was having some thoughts. Right, since we can't use balloons with drones. Actually, that may not be true. Pam may be able to. I haven't tested that. But since the balloons work completely different than pretty much every other kind of thruster out there, because they're not really a thruster, that may be an issue. I don't know yet. Yeah, it's kind of goofy. Kind of goofy. Turn the game sound down a little bit more still. just because these engines, the gas engines are more quiet than the hydrogen ones, but it's still a little on the noisy side. So I want to get this moved out of position. So we could do a boat for pickup and delivery of, or retrieval, like an actual oil tanker, to retrieve stuff and bring it back to the docks, and that would probably work pretty well. And then just have an alert set up for like refueling. There's two options. I can either stick with the existing coal steam system that we have here, or depending on how fast it burns through that, maybe convert over to gasoline. And so we take the oil, we bring it back to the harbor, we do our refinery stuff, and then when it needs to be refilled, I take a gasoline blimp, a tanker blimp, and just fly it out and refuel it manually. If not, and it stays cold, just do the same thing. So like I've got a whole bunch of like one-way sorters set up to properly move things around into cargo storage, but we just can't use AI drones to do that part, which is the unfortunate bit. But related to that, for protection, we could put guns on this directly. I did go through and break down a lot of the miscellaneous ammo that we had salvaged, that washed up from various, escort ships landing on the crashing places, on the water, washing up on my beach, whatever that happens to be. I broke that down so we have some ammo as a result, but not a whole lot. So do need to get niter for gunpowder. That's going to be it. I think all the places on this continent where you could get that are currently guarded. Like they've got a mining establishment on them. So yeah, that's something to take a look at. But related to that, right? It's not like this is an armored battle platform. So there's the risk that it capsizes if it gets attacked. And I think I kind of want to do some sort of defense drone or defense buoy system so that they're further out like satellites. And we can just space those around and go for that. If they're drones, they could be set up to like auto land on the top deck of this rig and refuel from there and recharge and then lift back off and go. And that's kind of a check in the favor of gasoline, because then they could refill from the gas storage tank here on the rig and then use gas power to get up and go around to do their stuff. The alternative would be using like floating battle buoys, which has like a gun and flotation on it and some ammo storage, and it's designed to be sacrificial, a throwaway, because it's going to get hit, right? But we could put some heavy armor on it, we could do a little bit of fun with that, and then could always just set it up so that it has a pylon and we could just tether it to the rig for power, which is another option. I haven't decided if one way is really that much better than the others or not yet. It's like we're about to get sunrise. We can see the sun over that way, which means I can't look back over my shoulder. But it means that the sun may be soon to rise. And that'd be nice. That'd be real nice. I don't know why AHE has such a high aggression score, but it is what it is. Oh, I did install boosters in the boat too. So if we have to, we can do like 68-ish meters per second now, which is not quite fast enough to outrun most of the combat drones, but it might give us a chance. Especially if, we're shooting down the rockets behind us. So I don't know, we'll see. I don't have a whole lot of faith that the duck boat's going to live if there's an actual combat encounter. Less than 700 meters away now. How, we have a lot more forward thrust than we do backwards thrust. I wonder how long no, we don't slow down too terribly slow. As long as I let off the throttle early enough. And I think we're coasting deeper into the oil well anyway. Need to go down with the hand drill and double check that. because you need to get this anchored far enough in. If it drifts under like low tide allowance, it's not a problem. Just had a thought. I don't know how much height variance the tides have. The sensor for stopping the drill going down might need to be more aggressive, and may need to reach out further to check for voxel, because it may have problems. Because if I set this thing, if I anchored at high tide and we drop like 2.5 meters going to low tide, it's going to plunge that drill face right into the ground. It's not going to be good times. Alright, I'm just going to let this drift. Yeah, we're not too terribly deep here. It's only 50 odd meters. We got oil sand beneath us. Plenty of oil sand. It's keeping going. Okay. So I'm not too concerned about this then. Yeah, we're gonna leave this here. This is a good spot to anchor. And I was going to set up at one point some buttons. Did I do that? I was going to set up buttons to control this. I don't think I ever did. I need more lights on here too. It's always something to do. We're just going to deploy all these, and then we'll just add 2 meters to each of them. They're actually pretty close. That's fairly level down there. That's really, really close to being level. Braking angles. How did that deal more damage than falling from the next... Okay, whatever. We're going to leave our anchors offline. Everything else should be good for station keeping there. This is a refill, so I can't fix my busted ankles. But here's this. And the question becomes... did I do any of this? So, the sensor... Yeah, only 4.8. Let's add more to that, because we can go a good distance. Let's just say stop it at 8 meters. That seems like a good idea. And when we detect... how am I going to do this? Did I ever put a broadcast relay onto this? I don't think I did. I did not. Boy. Okay, so there's still some more electronics parts you got to set up for this to be functional, but we can still do deploy stuff. Do I have buttons? I don't even have buttons. Oh god. Okay. I'll tell you what we're gonna do here. We're gonna put all 3 of these into a group, so I can just kill them all off this sensor. So that's going to be the easiest way to do this. So if it detects, we're just going to go in here to this group and say, turn block off. And then when it's no longer detecting, I don't care. I don't want it to do anything else. And we'll just have to manually kill that sensor. I will go back and reprogram this later so it works more efficiently. Let's just jetpack down here. Let's do some things. And we're just going to deploy this manually this time. Turn off the lock. I should probably unlock that. Mildly terrifying. This is the value of going through and sitting down and actually like working out your control systems. Okay, so we locked there, and then we're gonna trigger this one first, turn it on, drop it down. We got a little bit of drift based on where these anchor lines are going, but that's fine. We're still over the patch, and that's all that matters. I'd rather have some drift than be constantly snapping back and forth. Alright, that's been done. So we now... Oh boy. This is why I made myself a checklist. Hinge. So not this one, not 5. We're going to power these on. We're going to unlock them. And we're going to deploy and hope this doesn't explode. That's wild. And not how I expected that to go at all. Cool. And then we'll just turn on this piston. And same thing with this. And theoretically, these should stop when it gets close to the ground. If not, I get to have a moment of panic. That is a tad more wobbly than I expected it would be, but... Oh, did it stop? Oh, hey, look at that. Yeah, we can hear the beeping from the sensor. Alright, so pistons should all be off now, right? Off, off, off. Sweet. We're going to make sure the hinges are all off. We will... Actually, we'll leave them on, and then we'll lock them. And then we'll turn them all back off so that we're not burning power off them. And then this is... Oh, it's not locked. It's currently at 0, though, so... Well, oh, we don't have to, because the limitations are 0, 0. Okay. So we're good. We can just turn on the laser. And it should start drilling. And then we get to monitor power and see how power hungry this thing actually gets. Because I am a little concerned about that. Because I don't remember how much coal is here. Not a whole lot of coal. That's fine. There it is. Alright, so we're powered on. If we activate, we're pulling 2 megawatts of power. You're getting stone and sand. Okay. So we got oil sand, we got stone both. That's something I didn't account for. Which means I need to work out what we're going to do with that stone. We need an ejector system for the stone, so it doesn't fill up all our storage. Oh yeah, because the sorters that draw it up out. Oh no, this is going to clog things up sooner rather than later. All right, let's see. So we know we can't use this to automate hauling away anymore, but we could still use the pipelines to eject with. All right, let's do some things here. We're gonna release from this. Let's head back home and get that stuff done. The easy way to run an ejector is going to be a sorter for the stone specifically, into a connector that's set to draw all inject out. That's going to be the easiest way. So we'll need like 4 or 5 pipe segments, the connector, and a sorter. And we can just yeet it back off into the water. It'll eventually hit the floating object limit and then get cleaned up automatically and disappear. Because I don't really have a use for this. Oh, do I have a use for the stone, though? No, we've got a giant mountain we can pull stuff out if we have to. Okay. It's absolute waste. It does mean that any, like, fun loot that drops off somewhere else is going to be... Oh, wait, we could do an incinerator instead. Yeah, and then we got carbon off that. Oh, and there's an excuse to run, like, a fire pipe. Okay. So we're not going to eject the stone. We're going to repeat the same thing we've got over here for our excess gravel. And we're just going to set up an incinerator system. That's way easier. That is exactly how DuPont treats chemical waste. If the government doesn't sue us for it, it's not hurting anybody. I'm pretty sure that's how DuPont works. Okay. Too fast, no! Did I put a hole in the boat? I don't think I did. Oh, the catwalk. Oh, God. That'll buff out. Yeah, that'll buff out. Okay. Oh, man, we got real close. 10% on some of these? Oof. Oh, it's smashed up the docking plate. Let's get replacement pieces for that. I wasn't paying attention. I just smashed a hole in my boat. I built this to refine the synthetics into fabric. It's still running. It takes so long to refine that stuff. Oh, okay. Well, you know, it could have been worse. We could have actually... Look at that. 6%? Oh, man, we could have... Wait, that says 1? I swear that other one said 0. That must have been where we act... Oh, Jesus. I almost just sank this boat right here at the end of the dock. Don't have to start a counter for how many boats I've sunk yet. So there's that. Oh man, oh no. This crumpled everything. Jesus. I'm kind of concerned on if anything is... No, nothing inside would have been damaged because I intentionally didn't build anything out to the edge of the boat. Just on the off chance I ran aground. I wouldn't have to worry about like blowing up the storage or anything like that from deformation translation. And never too late. Yes, exactly. I mean, look, it's a matter of time. I will end up sinking this thing eventually. It's just a matter of time. Okay, let's... At least I didn't catch a turret and blow up the ammo. I guess the betting pool should be, do the GC blow up my boat, or do I accidentally blow up my boat? Which occurs first? So we're just going to recover our health here, unbreak my ankles. I unbroke the boat. Do I take apart this one? I think we take this one apart. I think that's what we do. Is there anything in here now? No. Okay. We're going to take apart this incinerator and we're just going to relocate it. Also, I fueled that boat with the initial gasoline by just effectively making a jerry can. Oh, there's a bunch of scrap. My inventory's in there. But there's a bunch of scrap. No, why is there large steel tubes? Wait, why did those get deposited? Space engineers, come on. Don't tell me it did actually damage the... Oh, we got scrap metal there. No? Okay, everything's functional. Why can't I put... Oh, right, because I never actually piped this for that. Of course I didn't. Of course I didn't never pipe that properly for that. Okay. Yeah, I just set up the small connectors. Or the small ports. We'll do it that way. Right? We'll put a hole. This is in the airtight section. I was considering putting a hatch here to begin with. This is all the more reason to put a hatch here. I'm not violating the airtightness of this thing. But we'll do that. That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted to do. I need his GPS waypoints. Hello, hello? I'm making messes. Blowing things up I shouldn't. Nope. I want smelter. There we go. And then... do I have the hatch thing on this? I do not. Cover? No. Conveyor. What is this called? I never remember the name of this block. You'd think out of all the times I've done this, I would remember the name of the block by now, but I honestly... I don't. I don't even see it. I've got to be blind. Oh, there it is. It's literally the first block. Access panel. I appreciate that. You're not going to miss anything big either way. That is entirely up to you on whether you start at episode 1 or not. It gives a little bit more background. Some of the stuff we got laid out here might make more sense, but none of it's really important for continuity. Which I realize is an argument against watching the other episodes. But how we got here, why things are the way they are, what we're doing, that's all relevant on the previous episodes, but you shouldn't be necessarily lost. Otherwise, why is this? I've got this thing set to keep us in place, and it's just not. So maybe I did break something I shouldn't have. That's the dock. Oh, that. Yeah, it's definitely the dock. We're gonna go here, and we'll just drop some anchor lines, and pretend I didn't just do that. And then that way, when I have to come back and be like, "Hey guys, there's a hole in my boat," you can all act surprised. There we go. That's what we want to do. Did I put a hole in anything? No. That's still there. That's still functional. Control surface is okay. We didn't hit hard enough. It wasn't like that last one where we slammed in at 19 meters a second or whatever ridiculous garbage that was. Alright, so we have this. I need to take this down too. We need to relocate another event controller over that way anyway. So it's not that big a deal. We'll just grab all these pieces, throw these on the boat. This gives us, 3 sections of pipe, and the incinerator, and a spare event controller as the sun rises. The water is from a mod. So it is from a mod. It works decently enough for, staying within the functional engine performance limits of the game. But it does work like water. It offers buoyancy. It offers resistance. You can collect it and use it to crack hydrogen for your hydrogen engines if you want. But it does allow you to do boats. And that's the important part. It also has fish and sea turtles in it. Those don't do anything. I'm pretty sure the mod author has no intention of updating this mod to support adding animals for the survival update. So you can't, like, fish with it. But I do know Aninra is working on... Let me tab over that. Aninra is working on a mod for, like, a trawling net. So when you're in water, you can actually catch fish. Yeah, exactly. Because someone to dump chemical waste. Man, I wonder how long it would take to fill up a small cargo container with carbon off this incinerator. Might have to make some changes to this layout sooner rather than later. So, I have to repipe some stuff to allow for a ship-based recovery of the oil. Because we can't use a drone for that. Or, well, I mean, depending on how long it takes... can start off with a broadcast alert for it, and I can just come back and get it myself. We're not going to aim straight for the rig, because that way when I completely and totally mess up my speed, because I've got zero depth perception in this game, I don't go slamming into like one of the floating pontoons and, you know, risk capsizing this thing, because I cause an explosion. The issue was we came in sideways, and I just don't have anywhere near as much lateral thrust and control as I do everything else. So, alright. And we're just going to come up here and there we go, we're connected. Turn off dampening force, go from there. So yes and no. That area is going to be deconstructed. The bright glowing light we have there is the tunnel into what I'm calling Hat Mountain, because it looks kind of like a hat. Yeah. Look, I didn't crash it this time. I gently bumped it. So there is a big oil deposit down here on the bottom. Down on the bottom of the water floor. So the goal is use this rig, mine up oil, refine the oil back on the mainland, use it for gasoline and eventually rocket fuel, and, you know, go from there. Let's see, how do I want to do this? And then the main base will be mostly back in that mountain. I've already bored a 1.25 kilometer tunnel from front to back of that. So we can start sticking stuff in there. So that will eventually get undone. But the problem is we really need roads from the water side where the port's going to be up into that area. And that requires asphalt. And asphalt requires oil sand. So we're doing all of this to make a road so that things are nice and easy to get up to where we want to be. Yeah. Man. Alright, so what was I doing? Incinerator. Incinerator. Do I have an easy place I can shove this in here somewhere and have it? Yeah, I think so. I think it'll fit there. That's kind of goofy. We could stick it out to the side. Maybe. The problem is I don't think this actually has animated flames when it's running. I think that's going to be the issue. Huh. Thoughts. I'm just going to use build planner to place this, and where are my mount points? Not there. Okay. I need to place down some blocks first. That's fine. I can work around that. There we go. Just copy paints. Why not have, wait, how do I not have steel plates on me? Did I have something else in build planner? No? Okay. Oh, because I used the cargo access that can't move anything through it, of course. It's fine. It's fine. Lights back on. How do I want to anchor this? Actually, I could put it... No, it really does need to be on this side. There's just no good way to anchor it, otherwise it's going to unbalance everything, though, because we're going to tilt this way. Or I can shove it in this giant stack of bullshit we can't do anything with. No, because it's going to garbage up a cargo. Okay, so I got to peel all this stuff out early, which means... Now, I'm pretty sure I still messed that up either way. What did I do with this cargo network? My own scaffolding's getting in my way. Alright, so there's this. This is facing down, because it keeps everything from coming back up. But then this is also facing down. And that means that nothing can go back up. Which means nothing can get up into here. And that's going to be a problem. We've already got... Wait, how many of these do we have? Ooh boy. Okay, so we are filling stuff up. Wait, cargo terminal. Where is the cargo terminal? Did I... Oh no. Oh, that's right. That doesn't matter, because the drill goes right into the cargo. Okay, no, I didn't mess that up. Okay, I'm not losing my mind. That's fine. In which case, this is great, because already having the sorter here means I don't need another sorter. I just need to do some stuff here, like... It's in whitelist mode, so I also need stone. We'll add that there, and then I can tap off that with this, and then feed that over this way to that. But if I want this to stick out, I do need another... Oh, no, I don't. I just need to have the parts on me. Okay, that works. Stick it here. Not. It's a bad placement point. I don't really have much of a choice, though. No, it's fine. We'll stick it there. See, you don't touch a thing you make for a week, and you completely forget how you wired up all of its automation systems and what you have and haven't programmed still yet. And then you gotta do it all by hand. As we start rocking around more, as I modify the mass of this thing and new buoyancy calculations start. Alright, so from this, now we can start doing things with pipes. Let's grab... Oh. Alright. We're going to go... paint this, and then we'll... Got this point here, I can put a sorter here, and use that to drain the stone, which needs to go this way. And then cut this loose. Stand on our tarp. We're going to fly back up to our tarp. We're going to stand on our tarp again. I'm pretty sure I'm running low on fuel in the one tank for that one already. So let's just not fly if we don't need to. Horrifying mess of pipes. So that goes down to here, and then this is just a three-way pipe. I think that's right. Before I weld up the rest of this, we're going to do all this from the other direction around. So I need to get this welded first, so we can make sure we're not igniting oil inside our burner. Okay. Let's see. Trash incinerator. We're going to set this to drain all, but we're going to whitelist stone. So we should try to drain everything from this side and push it this way, which will then go into the incinerator, and I will be able to greeble this so it looks nicer in a little bit. The sun has finally come up, so I can turn off the damn suit lights. Cool. And then it's just these 3 more conveyor pipes. I may have to go fly back. So I think I'm 1 pipe short. I am 1 pipe short. I was right. So far, I've been able to do this with only stealing things. So that's pretty cool. Actually, no, I'm not even I'm half a pipe short. How did I get half a pipe short? Is there anything else still in here? Yeah, there's still stuff in here. Why do I have... What did I take apart that had detector components and computers in it if it wasn't the sorter? Oh, the event controller. That's right. That's fine. We'll fly back over this way. It's 3 and some change kilometers. This is terrifying because I'm going to hit something. Right. Let's get some power back. Swap the empty tank for a full. Grab the parts I'm still missing. Head back out. It's not even 3.5 kilometers away. That's not too bad. So depending on how things go, I think it's going to depend on how much cargo capacity I can get into a little dirigible, a little cargo dirigible, for whether or not you can see the laser for it. It is a crab tank. It's actually an industrial crab. It's got a big grinder and a big industrial drill on it. I need to make one for fighting with. I haven't done that yet, but it's on the list. It's going to have like either artillery guns inside the claws, or I'm going to get lucky and get the parts to be able to make a railgun and just do railgun claws. I'm thinking about doing smaller ones as like automated defenses. I haven't decided yet. I've got to play around with how bad the AI just loses its mind if it skitters around on legs. But if I could set up AI controls for it just to automate defenses, that'd be glorious. Alright, we've drifted a little bit. The drill is lasering things. This is working sweet, and we're not... It's a good thing I increased that sensor distance, because that would have just slammed into the ground if I hadn't. This still might be a problem. You know what? We're gonna do some things here real quick. That's also an option too. That is also an option. This is dangerous. We're just gonna... I just about got smacked in the face. We're gonna turn this back on, and we're just gonna raise this. Oh crap! I'm gonna. You know, we're not gonna do this from down here because it's gonna pull up and it's gonna retract back up out of my control range, and then it's gonna be a problem. So we're gonna come over here, and we'll just do it from here, and we'll just say, "Hey, I need you to come back up like another 4 meters." should still be able to reach the... Oh, yeah, yeah. Lasers going in. We got plenty of distance. Now we've got a little bit of playroom between low tide and eventual additional storage mass. All right. Oh, cool. Is it actually making smoke? Is that smoke, or is that just me losing my mind? I don't know. Maybe it's me losing my mind. There's nothing in it. All right. What did I screw up? What did I screw up? So, can I manually move stone to the incinerator? No. So let's trace... Oh, right, because that hooks up here, and this needs to be set to allow stone. Oil sands. We're going to remove the oil sand from here, because I don't think that's going to be viable still. We turn this sorter on, so the stone should be... comes up from the drill, up into this cargo array. The cargo array sucks the stone up out that way. It's going to try to push it to this connector, but the sorter down there should grab it and keep it from doing that. No, yes, okay. So it's bouncing a little bit, but it does do it. You know, we may move this sorter further up. I don't know. When it comes down, it's getting shoved down this way, which means it's going to try to go into this cargo container, but it's going to get sucked back out again. Shoved into the incinerator, which should now actually be incinerating. It is incinerating. The question is it faster? Oh, it is faster. Sweet, okay. So now we shouldn't have issues, because it should be very aggressively ripping stone out of the cargo into the incinerator constantly. We're going to put some cargo out here for carbon. Not sure how I feel about that, but so far this works. And worst case scenario, we can lower this down to slurp up more water, which we can crack into hydrogen to refill our tanks. Worst case, I could do a hydrogen. Ooh, man, that's 3.5 kilometers each way on hydrogen thrusters. With Industrial Overhaul's tweaks, that's going to be really rough. That's also going to be a lot of titanium if I try and use turbines, jet turbines, to do it instead. It's really a shame we can't use a drone with the balloons. Then again, this is a little bit less stable than I thought it would be, because we are still sitting a little bit higher up out of the water. As you can see, we're most of a tank in, so that would have put our water line there-ish. And that was just too close for what I wanted. Because there's some buoyancy still left above that line, but not as much. So if we could get like another 4 meters of sinkage, 3 meters of sinkage, that may not be bad. I may need to rework how that sensor works so that it, which we should probably turn back on, so that it automatically retracts the drill when it needs to. That's an issue for another day, though. We're not doing that today. We have oil. We have oil. I have to finish welding up all these catwalks. We have oil. I'm happy about that. That's actually not horrible. You know, so Battle Crab, it's got some potential options, right? Because right now, that existing crab has like 6 cargo, like the big modular cargo containers internal to it. It could have all that replaced with weapons. It wouldn't be hard to do. All right, we're picking up some. We're burning coal. Ooh, we're burning coal. Okay. Next project. This is working. Nobody's opened fire on us yet. Next project. Full deployment. We need to get a coal mine running. Need to get. Oh god. Yeah, I need to get a coal mine running. That at least we can run a pipeline for. Oh, that. Oh man. I mean, I could do small grid missiles. That would work. I don't know that I want to add Vanilla Plus for Vanilla Plus's missiles, for like auto tracking missiles. But also, rockets suck. So I don't want to use rockets. I said a big artillery cannon that races up out of the back would also be an option. And we know for a fact that that crab can haul 400 plus tons up the 35-degree slope we have at one point to get up to that tunnel. So I don't have access to lasers yet. We could, if we went off-world, we could get the parts for lasers. Because they are in this scenario. The back missiles for anti-air. Alright, we're gonna... Nope. We're just gonna burn hard. I have no idea how close that got me. I remember to break in time this time. Didn't remember that time, though. E for bow thrusters. Okay. Let's just thruster ourselves in here again. We're definitely at low tide. We'll just... Oh no, I did damage one of our... God damn it. It's fine. It's fine. I did damage something. How damaged is it? You know, 1 out of 6, that's... I can live with that. We're nowhere near where we should be, but it's also low tide. So, whatever. Alright, so we don't need these anymore. I can get rid of these. We do need a whole bunch of stuff. So, yeah, we need coal. So let's rip stuff off here. Do I have any of the pipeline stuff anymore? No, I do not. Okay, so let's see. Ore tap. Need one of these. We need a steam boiler. We need steam pipes. We need a buffer tank at this point. We need a coal boiler. We need like 1,000 steel plates. And we need at least 1 pipeline block to start. So let's see what all we can do here. So I also need the parts for a battery. Let's do the battery first before I forget. I do have steam pipes still in my thing there. Because we want the acid battery, because at least that can be recharged. Can I not pull out of that? I guess I can pull out of that. How do we not have the wire? The wire? Okay, this is lying to me. Why am I not making the acid cells? That's the question. Because I don't have the sulfur for them. Of course I don't have the sulfur for them. What am I missing here? No? No, we should have the sulfur. I bought a whole bunch. We didn't use... Oh, we did use it all. God damn it. Okay. So, we'll prepare for an acid battery, and then I'll have to go buy some more sulfur for that. That's fine. We'll just get working on the other parts in the meanwhile. This may take a while. The plan is to go over to where we found the coal and set up a pipeline and go from there. And I need to turn this thing on so I can actually use the conveyor system. There we go. It's always something. Alright, we need a steam turbine. Helps if I hit the right key combo. Now, I haven't seen anybody fly over that area yet, so I don't know if we're going to need to set up some sort of, like, anti-air defenses. The answer is maybe, which is going to make things a little bit more difficult. We got 2 pipe pieces. If I do this, so there's that, and then you can plug that into a buffer tank, and then plug the buffer tank into the boiler. Yeah, I think that'll work. I think we can get away with only 2 that way. Just tell it to forcefully produce those rather than play catch up. I need to, at some point in time, do a welder claw, just to make assembling some of this stuff a lot easier. I do want to have interchangeable claws at some point. Flying weak crab plane, oh no. So I did add, there is a new mod added to the playthrough. This week I added Consti's plane parts and wings. So we actually have functional wings now. That'll actually, like, lift and stuff, so... We can do a fighter plane. All that stuff is done, and we need a pipeline hub. No, I didn't do the steam turbine yet, did I? Or the coal boiler. I need to do the coal boiler. There we go. Yeah. So we can do... I'm trying to decide between a biplane and a triplane, just to really, like, throw it in there. Go a little Crimson Skies on things. At some point, I do want to do a battle Zeppelin. And so it may just be a thing where, like, the big cargo Zeppelin just has, like, 3 dozen guns on it, and it just floats above the oil rig, and that's the defense platform for it. I haven't decided yet. It would be neat if I could land a plane, like an actual plane, on the Zeppelin, or in the Zeppelin, or hooked to the Zeppelin somehow. And I think that's going to be one of those, like, here's an aspirational goal. If I can manage to get the control scheme working well enough for it. Because I just don't know that I'm going to be able to. But I might be able to do something with, like, landing on top of the balloon. I wish I could grapple. The anchor mod that does, like, the anchor lines is about as close as we get right now. There's a couple, like, grapple harpoon style mods that can connect grids. but none of them are maintained. They're all kind of janky. The mod author for the anchor mod is considering working on like a grapple system. The other thing we do have is we do have access to. That's not the one I want. That's the actual anchor. What is the name of? I thought it was a winch. Is it not winch? So added the plane stuff. My build menu is all different now. I'm all confused by it. Let's see. I thought it was winch. Is it not? It's not. It's not the winch. That's the anchor. There we go. The pulley mod. So we do have the ability to do like 250 meter lifting stuff, but these are static. Like they're not like an actual cable. They're like a giant super piston. So it will work for that. So we can use it to pick things up still and lever them up and down. Just have to remember not to try and repaint them after you place them because it will crash your game. But that is an option as well. And those are probably going to be used to build the access elevator to the top of the mountain to actually get to the Zeppelin hangar. So that is an option to look into as well. While we're here at the map, is there magnesium nearby? Or niter, rather. Yeah, so there is niter over here. So we can get... Oh, there's also some over that way. That's right. I don't know which is going to be easier to get to, because those both look pretty mountainous. The titanium's over here. We will need titanium to really do anything with Zeppelins. But there's also this down here. This is open to the sea, so it could be open to naval aggression, but this could get blockaded for roadway access. Oh, I love that idea. I'm gonna make a note about that. Making a note about that because I'm gonna forget. But that's hilarious. I love that idea. Okay, so did these things. We don't need to level the oil anchor bed because it's actually really level to begin with. Asphalt we'll get around to. We do need mini crabs for defense and crab ladders. I'm just going to call them crab ladders. Yeah. Okay. So let's turn off the oil. We no longer need this GPS over here. We'll know where it is. Or I can just completely fail to properly double click. That works too. We have the parts almost built. Let's get the last of these here. Yeah, that's all they're in. And now we're going to move things. I'm just going to pull everything out of that back leg. In fact, actually, we probably want to put a good chunk of this. No, that's pretty even. So let's go with cart container 6, 5. It's hidden because I had that option still set. And that kind of levels us out left and right. Okay. Let's see if I remember how this works. We turn this on, we turn this on. We don't need any of this stuff. And the claws are up out of the way enough that I don't need to worry about that. The claws are controllable manually. Alright. I have no idea how much gas I put in. Before we go driving away, how are we doing? We're at We're at plenty. We are at plenty. I should probably at some point actually set up a monitoring screen for fuel levels. And we need to go into the water slow enough we don't cause pressure pops on the cockpit glass. This thing's still... This thing's so ridiculous. Oh, this crab is so goofy, and I love it. It absolutely moves like a lobster, because I wasn't about to try to do sideways motion. Like this thing is so ridiculous, and it's absolutely, I think... Oh, I just blew something up. It's the back legs. That's fine. It's not like I don't blow those up every single stream. They're sacrificial. They're sacrificial pedal legs. You know, this is single-handedly, I think, my favorite thing that I've ever built in Space Engineers, and it's so absolutely ridiculous. That said, the change of the design to do double suspension on the rear legs did keep me from breaking them off for like 14 hours. I didn't break those legs once in between streams, doing all like the various stuff with the crab and moving things around and rebuilding the drill rail and all that stuff for the drill train. We are... This is a steeper angle than I thought it was. We are at more than 45 here, my friends. There we go. Okay. That's on me. I should have gone further down. Just further down the coast. Could have done that. Wouldn't have been an issue. Hooray for wide body crab. Wide body industrial blue crab. Most stable crab ever. The shadow of this thing casts. It's just the arms. Hang on, I gotta. Oh, let's just move the spectator cam here. Oh, yeah, I just lost the back connectors. That's fine. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, the rear rotors that keep the legs from slamming into the ground don't have enough strength. When I catch air, the back legs slap. Okay, that makes sense. All right, let's turn on the GPS for this. Where's my coal point? Back up the mountain. You know, a horseshoe crab that tows with its tail would be good. I like how every time I get in and out of this thing, the middle set of legs just completely... Trees, just get out of the way. Trees can't stop us. The middle set of legs just completely changes how it wants to actually work for turning. Alright, so this is where we were hand mining for coal previously. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to come up here, we're going to park. We're going to drop the legs down. We're going to turn off dampening, turn off the thrusters so we don't burn it all up. Yeah, this is not that big a deal. We lose those connectors all the time. The fact that that's all we lost, that's actually pretty good. where is my coal hole? Oh, right there. I almost fell in it. The crab just walked right across it. It didn't even care. So, we're going to start with, you know what I didn't grab? Oh, I didn't grab all the steel we need for platforms. It's fine. We got hydrogen. We'll go back. We'll get some steel plate. I allowed myself to get distracted. See the oil rig off in the distance. So eventually all of this will be taken down and relocated over there or up into there. And then our initial beachhead base here will be unnecessary and completely cleaned up finally. Let's see, we're just going to grab 300 steel plates, plenty. In fact, there's probably a whole bunch of scrap down there from, you know, actually, hang on, let's take a look. Can we see where I smashed up the legs? So this is only AI right now. It has multiplayer. Oh look, there's the back legs. I don't have it set up for that right now. You can, and you can run it on like a server. It is a Windows only server executable, so you have to kind of, most people just run it through Wine because it works. But you could do multiplayer. You could do you know, cooperative or competitive or some various flavor in between. This scenario can be played multiplayer. It does work that way. Alright, so we are at coal here. I think what I want to do is I want to clear a good chunk of space out down to the coal, so we're not also getting stone I've got to deal with. So we can get down to just coal. That would be pretty sweet. Alright, so here's coal. Alright, and that should be deep enough. So if we come back up here and I just lay some blocks. In fact, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do half blocks, just so when I have to come back in later and weld these up, I don't forget and be like, well, I don't bring enough steel for this. We're going to try and center this in some fashion so that I can actually build out around that. Okay. That works. And then I can just place this here. And now we've got conveyor access, and I didn't bring the parts for cargo. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Let's get some more steel plate. Get this thrown down. Let's throw out some blocks. So if we have that there, the cargo is going to need to be fed to the same spot. It's going to come into the coal boiler as well. Blocks down. We can actually place this and have it be part of the grid. Don't know how that happened, but okay. Okay, and then, so if, again, try this again. That's the drill. This is this. And then this feeds steam pipeline here, which I need a large steel tube to place. Then that's going to feed into a buffer tank, which has a pipe here and there. And then I want to do... Can I do a T that has... No, there's no T that has scaffolding. Rip, that's fine. I'll just do a corner then. No, I'm going to go the other way around. And then the turbine goes like that. And that'll get us our power. And now I can just fill in the support structure. That's how all that'll go. And then we go back to the half blocks again. Or taking the first one down. And now we're gold. And I can come back and weld these all back up later. And then we'll probably put like a couple of batteries there once we have the parts built for those. So I'm going to go ahead and place those down there. And we should be good outside of me forgetting the cargo storage. The easiest way I think is going to be a cargo terminal. Of course I need interior plate. Of course I need interior plate. Okay, so that'll be the way that works though. We'll do a cargo terminal there, and then I will feed that off to a larger cargo container, like large industrial. Yeah, because I can just... Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Nothing set the planner. Let's grab this. Let's grab this. Get these on the build planner. Get them welded back in. And then at some point I need to bring back like electronics for antennas and broadcast controllers and like some automation setup stuff so that it can send notifications if somebody decides to open fire on it. Again, I don't think that'll be a concern just yet, but it could become one. You never know. Do I not have the motors for this? No, I do. Okay. I just didn't pick them up for some reason. The sun starts to set. So this will be fully self-contained for its own power needs. It will drill up coal, burn some of that coal to make steam, run the steam turbine, which will power the drill and everything else and top the battery, keep the batteries topped off rather. And we'll be able to jumpstart with just the battery itself. And then we won't have to worry about any of the rest of that. What is all in my inventory? But I've got all the pieces for these in. Okay. Something weird going on. So I had a steam pipe in there somewhere still. Then I could bring back parts to finish this out in between streams. And rebuild this up a little bit and make it look nicer. Ooh, we may not have the titanium plate for this turbine. I might have to go... No, we must have, because it let me pull all the parts. Okay. I didn't know I still had spare titanium plates left over. The rain. It's fine. We've got oil sand being drilled up now. We can make our own canvas. We can make our own fabric. We can make tarps. We can cover ourselves with tarps. It's all coming soon. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm almost done, I would have backed the crab further up to this and been like, I just don't want to run this far. But I'm almost done at this point. Okay. So that should all be intact and functional, and we do need to do the pipeline, because the hub needs to aim back this way, and we're going to stick that, see which way, air goes that way, so we need to do this, yeah, and then pipelines, right? No, pipeline? Display? I don't know. There's a command to make it show. I may have to look it up. To the mod page. What's the command for this? Pipeline toggle. I was close. I was close if I spelled it right. Okay, so I... Okay. We do this slightly differently, and we're going to put a rotor on top. An advanced rotor, specifically. Gotta be advanced rotors. Normal rotors don't allow components through. Because we can... Did I take these off? No, I didn't. It's on this page. Haha! Do I have the pieces to do this? I do not. That's fine. So we're gonna go back to the coal hole. Where's the coal hole? I'm gonna fall in this thing and kill myself. There it is.
Inventory.
Grab some coal to bring back with us. Throw it in the crab. Do it again. There's no pieces on the floor. We'll bring back a couple loads of coal with us and use that to help refuel some things. I need to get... Leave myself a note. Advanced rotor. Cargo access. Large. You know, we may not have the grids. The issue may be I may not have the grids to do a large cargo. That may be the issue. So we may just do a small cargo for local storage, which the cargo access block is probably sufficient then. And then we'll just actively push, aggressively push everything down the pipeline network. I think that's going to be the way that works. Alright, turn this back on, this back on, this back on, get our lights going. Oh, that's so much better. Every time I load the game up, it changes whether it wants the wheels to turn in inverted steering or regular steering mode, because they're so close to the center line forward to front to back. And I think it might have to do with like how high the claws are raised off the ground, which is infuriating but also hilarious. We're going south, which is, yeah, south is correct. We want to go south because our temporary location is southish, southeastish from here. But between the rain and the sunsets, that got a little bouncy. I don't care about trees. They can't stop industrial crab. Yes, absolutely, that rotor doesn't have the strength. Okay, can I do a park up? Can I improve the rear crab rotor strength? Or are they already maxed out? They are already maxed out. Okay. Interesting. Well, that means I need to figure out something different to do for where the feet impact the ground then. Oh, this is a terrible idea. Oh, Can we be super stable sideways and not roll? Let's go back to this angle. Nope. Nope. Bad times. Mistakes have been made. I don't have the ability to brake half as well as I can go forwards. So if we pick up too much speed going downhill, we're gonna bounce off the ground. Oh man, that was bad. Okay, I might need to put forth the effort to like push a road back into this. All right, can we slow down before we hit the water? I really don't want to blow out the windows. There we go. Okay. We're fine. We're good. Everything's good. Back to the water. We'll do this. Just be on our way. Can't see anything really. That was kind of close. We're gonna scuttle along just above the surface. There we go. Now we're settled down on the surface. Oh. If I wasn't trying to use the rear legs for connecting to things, I don't think it'd be an issue because they weigh way less. But I'm kind of using them in two ways. I'm using one to counterbalance the claws. Oh, I got going too fast. Bad news bears. Nose back down. Thank you. Can't take my hands off the controls at all. The issue is they're currently like counterbalancing the claws to a degree, and they also, I don't know. I gotta figure out something different to do so they're not constantly bouncing off the ground. So there are atmospheric thrusters in this. There's a whole bunch in the body that help provide, because like all the underwater propulsion, we're doing 75 and cleared that. Something just blew up. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't move the coal out of the back legs back up to the main modular cargo. I bet you that's what it was. I bet you we just lost all that coal. Oh no, we got some of it. There are there's a large flat move for a lateral left and right, and a whole bunch of, there's some reverse, and there's a lot forwards. Because it was necessary to haul 400 plus tons of idiocy and garbage up that 35-degree incline. Yeah, we lost the collector back here. That's fine. That's fine. It's not that big a deal. What did I have this stuff for? What did I forget to stick up over there that resulted in these things being left behind in modular cargo? I don't remember, and that's a problem. We're going to go throw this in the boat. I'm going to throw the coal in the boat, because I got to run the coal back over to the oil rig at some point. So there's fuel. Nope. We're just going to jump in the water. That's what we're doing. We're just jumping in the water. And most of the thrusters are hit, like the two lateral ones aren't, and the two in the front for braking aren't. All the ones for going forwards are hidden inside the body, so you don't really see them. Because it amused me. Okay, we lost some of the coal. We lost... Which is probably why that connector bounced off the ground, to be perfectly honest, like... Because it just weighed too much. And the rotor couldn't handle it, so... It's fine, I'll rebuild the legs in between streams. As far as parts, we need an advanced rotor. Just go ahead and grab that. And we need... cargo access module. We need more pipelines. Yeah, just gonna go with the cargo terminal. That's not true. How do we not have the motors? I just did that wrong. Derp. Let's try that again. There we go. Because of that, okay. That's fine. We'll do this. We have large steel tubes. We have wire. Oh, because we're bound waiting for... Oh god, hang on. Let's just stop this. Please just make me... Oh, come on. It's the computers. The computers are killing us. Well, originally they did. There were originally wheels under that. They're currently floating in the bottom of the river. Because it came down a tad too hard and broke them and the connectors they were attached to off. Oh, hang on. We got gravel stuck everywhere. That's the issue. Okay, let's okay. No, we're gonna turn you off. That's the issue. Took down... Oh god. I removed the thing that boils away all the excess gravel when we're not actively making concrete, and so it filled up all of our stuff. Because of course I did. That's what I do. It's fine though, because eventually I'm going to start carrying loads of concrete up to Hat Mountain, so it can all be used to lay a new floor there, and then it won't be an issue. And everybody will be happy. That's my hope. Cool, now we're actually making things. There we go, that's the way that's all supposed to work. Alright. Cargo access, advanced rotor, we need more pipelines. To be fair, it's impressive that I've only damaged the crab this much without, like, breaking off the legs entirely. Because I did that last time. Like, they were down to, like, a little nub. So everything from here back, including the connectors and the shock absorption wheels, had to be rebuilt. It was not a fun time. Alright, We got those. Let's just do this. Computer's going. Cool. Pause those. We are 5.5 kilometers, so we will need at minimum 5 external pipelines to get that over here. Potentially 7 to get over to here, because the pipelines only do a kilometer at a time, and they're a straight line. So depending on how nice I can get the point-to-point on it. That is true. If crab life were easy, everyone would do it. 100%. It's also why everything eventually becomes crab. The eventually is the important part of that. You may not know you need the crab life, but when it is time, you will be ready. And did I mess this up? Oh, we're out of interior plates, which means we have no aluminum. Where's the plate? No, we have aluminum. What is the plate press stuck on? Stamp. Plate stamp. It's full of iron and silicon for some reason. Okay, let's unfuck this. And fix that. And I need to find somebody to sell my silicon to. Like, I need somebody who's just an absolute idiot joker to come buy all the silicon off me. Because it's never going to get used. Ever. That's another reason we need to get out of, like, using stone for trace refining and actually get, like, actual industry going. But that's fine. If I like how this coal mine layout works, I'll be able to do a quick blueprint and easily modify it for other places. We'll just be running it off wind power at those other locations, probably, because I don't know that I want to haul around coal everywhere. Maybe, well, actually, that would probably work. I could just do a big coal zeppelin, just a big smonk rolling zeppelin. Exactly. All becomes crab. Alright, so if I do this, container 5, container 6 has everything, but this is way unbalanced, so let's just move like 140 of these plates over. That's way too much. Let's move 75 back. Hey, that's close enough. Pop back in the crab, pick the wheels up off the ground. We do this, we turn off our brakes, we go diving back into the water, head back for coal. I didn't bring lights. Oops. Too late now. We'll get to see the... hang on. Maybe we'll stop and grab the wheels that broke off on the way there, and we'll just load them back. The problem is this crab body is annoyingly water dynamic, and it keeps wanting to not touch the ground after about 10 meters a second. Let's see if I can get it down all the way. If I can get it down all the way, maybe we'll be okay. I mean, we're also kind of sloping down here too, I guess. That's fair. There we go. Now we're on the seabed. Bottom of the channel. Scooting along, doing 55 miles an hour. Okay. So we're just gonna pick up our parts, so we're not littering. as the crab rolls me over. Oh, turn off the brakes. Here we go. There we go. I just want to get this coal mine going. If I get the coal mine going and ready to go, then I can do the painful part of running the pipelines by hand off stream. Exactly, and so far we haven't done any industrial chemical waste littering yet. Came real close. This crab is doing 70 was doing 70 meters a second before I let off the gas. I need y'all to understand. 70 meters a second is like 100, just shy of 150 miles an hour. This crab was scooting. When we came down the mountainside earlier, we were doing 80 miles an hour. Like, the fact that this thing just doesn't bottom out constantly for weighing... Oh! There we go, something blew up. For weighing 80 tons, the fact that we don't blow up more often at these speeds in this terrain is pretty wild. Like, we're just... And the only reason something broke there was because the drive system that holds the leg up off the ground can't do it. It can't handle the force load of just clearing air and dropping 8 meters at 100 miles an hour as an 80-ton crab. Like, that's the fun part about all this. Yeah, we just lost the collector off the end. When I'm driving, by the way, these are held up. They look like the claws. I just turn them off when I park because they just drain power holding up for no reason. The problem with all this now is that I don't have an easy way to access the cargo anymore. Oh wait, yes I do. I can reach it through the motors. There we go. We're just going to reach through the thrusters to snake our parts out. There we go. Okay, what did I bring? I brought a cargo terminal. Of course, I parked the crab in the worst spot to do this again. We're gonna move the crab this time, though. I'm not running back and forth for all this. We don't have the power for the batteries yet. And I didn't bring the parts to hook up an industrial extension cable. So I can't jump start this either. Didn't bring lights, didn't bring jumper cables. Got a claw hooking onto my turbine. Let's make sure the lights are aimed where they need to be. See, normally they're up out of the way. And then we need the rotor. Flip this way, and we're going to spin 0 pointing southeastish. I didn't bring the parts to complete this because I'm dumb and forgot them. I'm going to smack my head on my claw. It's fine. It's fine. Alright, and then this is enough power so I can't even aim it. That's fine. We can still set the pieces as though we were going to, and that's the important part. I can pretend that I know what I'm doing. So the arrows point to the left, so that goes that way. Yeah. Actually, could I do... No, I'm pretty sure I don't have the pieces for a tether, do I? That's for the hose attachment. I might have... Man, if I could get this jump started, that would be good, because I don't need the displays for this to actually work. We are going to do a pipeline toggle so that giant green thing is not constantly on my face. What is the cheapest one of these I can run? They're all the same. Do I have the spare parts? I don't know. Let's try that again. I do. Sweet. Okay, we can jumpstart this. We can use the crab and jumpstart all of this. So we're going to go take these pieces back out because I don't need these because that's part of the pipeline that I just pulled separate parts to build. Coal drill. We're not going to activate yet, but that should all be good to go. So if we just plug our extension cable in. We're ripping 2 megawatts. Damn it, we're still getting stone. Alright, so let's deactivate this. Let's go underground. I just need to drill more of this garbage out. There's still some stone in its laser path. We can fix this. It's not that big a deal. I just wasn't thorough enough the first time, that's all. And then we'll just... Man, I'm really concerned I'm going to punch all the way through this coal layer. Because this kind of cheats a little bit. Alright, so we are directly below it now. And I only see coal here. So I think we're good. It's fine. It's fine. I got a steel plate in here somewhere. Yeah. Cool. Now nobody can tell. And we're just going to grab all the stone back out of here. And we're ripping coal out, so that should mean that the turbine is running. It's running. Our buffer tank is filling. Turbine is putting 258 kilowatts, so we're less than 300. Yeah. Alright. I mean, it kind of looks thin when I park, but also... That's like 14 feet tall. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at half a meter. 8 blocks at half a meter each. That's 4 meters. Yeah, it's like plus a little bit extra for the suspension height and the plates on top. So you were like 13-ish feet tall. That's not bad. It's also five large grid blocks wide, so that's 13 meters, 12.5 meters wide. It's 2.5 meters to a large block. Or no, that's, yeah, 10 plus half of 5 is 2, so yeah, so 12.5 meters wide. I could. I mean, ideally, right, I would be allowed to use spectator cam instead of being locked to first-person cam if I'm not using, spectator. But third-person camera is locked for this playthrough. Because then I could just sit inside the crab, and there wouldn't be a visible cockpit, and it wouldn't matter. Because I could just, do one of these orbity bits around as I drove around all the time, and go sideways. I do not want to quick load. That's the wrong button. Dangerous press. I did consider going through the effort to articulate the legs, and I decided that a crab that could do 200 miles an hour, Dale Earnhardt style, was better. I can kind of fake that a little bit between using like tubes and then the top camera and stick them on a stalk. Could kind of get that way. Could get close. You know, I wonder why the claws never smash into the ground, but the back legs do. There's got to be something different about this that's... I need to take this apart and figure out what's different between these. Because these never slam into anything. Oh, they're locked. That's why. Okay, maybe I'll have to... I need to set up a little bit more automation on the crab. I've got the electronics inside the system to do it so that when we're in cruise mode, we come up in the lock, and then we'll stop smashing things off the bottom. I'm going to add that to my list. Stop destroying crab legs by properly setting up. Get rid of the locks. There we go. We can get rid of this now. Disconnect that. We'll just put these parts back. But we're all set for that, and then I can do... It's nighttime, so this is going to be a giant pain in the ass to do, but we can try and aim that way. If we aim that way-ish. That's good enough for that. And then we do a pipeline toggle. That gets us a good part of the way there. So we're in a good spot. How are we doing on cargo? We are... Coal boiler is not full yet, but we are mining. Theoretically. Are we not? Did I mess up the drill? Did mess up the drill, that's fine. I never turned it back on. Still stone! Okay, so I need to figure out something to get rid of the stone. So we're going to need to run an incinerator here and be done with it. Solar panels don't make enough power. This is the problem. So like for something that's going to sit for a long point in time somewhere, it's okay. But with Industrial Overhaul, they're not exactly cheap to make, and they don't make enough power versus gasoline. And I've got... Ooh, how many gasoline engines do we have in this thing? 4. We've got 4. And they can make 1.5 megawatts each as a generator. So that's 6 megawatts of power in gas versus 200 kilowatts in solar. 20 kilowatts in solar? I don't know what they are. What are they? Does it tell us? 62.5. 62.5 kilowatts per panel. It's just not, the energy density is not there, and we don't, you know, we're almost an 80-ton crab. Like it's with all of our legs intact, like 78 tons. So I mean, we've got the ability to move the mass. It's just the energy density for gasoline is just too good. Kind of like real life. So there's that. This is all set up and good to go. We need to rename this grid. We'll call this coal mine. And I'll come back and make this less garbage and set up an incinerator for it, because eventually this is going to get full of stone. Well, the coal boiler won't, because the coal boiler can't accept the stone. But eventually we might have everything full of stone. Ooh, oh no, hang on. I can ignore it all, because if we pipeline it all back, we could pipeline it back, then I could get rid of it all back at our main base. Yeah, okay. So never mind. I'm not going to set up an incinerator rig at each one of these. We're just going to pipeline everything back. We're going to get the ore. We're going to get the garbage tailings. We'll get all of it back. And it'll be fine. one trip back so that way if I accidentally blow up the crab, it's on camera. And that way no one can claim that I blew up the crab off camera. And then it's not a concern. We caught air there. I'm still not locking the legs down. I'm going to snap them off the nubs. Crabs are growing back. They'll be fine. Industrial crab's good. I need to... The problem's going to be I need to... I need... Ooh. Oh. Something happened there. Wasn't a claw. That's all that matters. Those claws were a pain in the ass to make, by the way. Which is why I need to build a couple and just... Oh, trees. Have like a wall that I socket them into and just swap out the tools. I need to get some heavy armor for one and do a heavy armor shell because this is an industrial crab. It's just covered in sheet metal, and a battle crab needs to be armored. It needs to have some thick armor plates. It needs to eat. It needs to eat small arms fire for breakfast. It needs to hold up to sustained 50 cal fire. Because the GC may not technically be a military, but they're militarized. And, you know, when you're a giant mega corporation and you field your own PMCs, you know, you have some stuff that happens, and we need to be able to stand up against that. So we need to out-arm ourselves versus them, because it's one of us, and every single engagement with them is going to be multiple. Oh, got a little drifty there. So Battle Crab needs armor. Battle Crab is probably going to end up weighing... what is this? Was there another wheel recovered somewhere? Let's go see what that is. A battle crab, if all I do is just replace the light armor skin with heavy armor, I'm pretty sure it's going to end up around 140 tons. Like it's going to put on some mass, just in armor alone. I may be wrong on that, we'll see. If we can get some gold and silver, I can build a welder wall, and then we can just print battle crabs. Just have them just roll through. Oh no, it's going to be the little tiny tires. That's right. Because they're just sliding down the river with the current. The other ones were still attached to their bases. Yeah. The other ones. There's another one somewhere. Maybe not. I thought there was. Not getting any targeting locks though, so maybe I was imagining that. We're gonna find it in like 3 weeks. Like floating up on the shore or something. Also, where we are is really bad for solar. That's another piece of the thing. Like the Connex box that I live in here, it has like a solar overhang. And at one point in time, there was a solar panel on the boat, and it just we're pretty deep on the northern hemisphere, and we get like maybe half the sunlight because of the mountains that we otherwise would. Let's not crash into my bedroom. I'm just gonna pull up here. Shut all that down. So there is a solar panel over here, because the solar panel does get enough power with the batteries on here to run the survival kit so we can respawn. But it, like the power draw for just this box here, you know, like it's the survival kit, it's the lights, that's about it. It doesn't have enough draw to really impact anything. So it works just fine. But I was kind of limping things along with this early on for a little bit, and it had some issues. So that's why we have the wind turbine, and then we did upgrade to the coal boiler once like resource harvesting actually started, just to build stuff out, because even this couldn't keep up, and this was head and shoulders better than. There was a second panel here at one point. I stole it for the boat, that panel's probably over here in storage now. I could probably put it back, but it'll be nice when that is done, and I can just use the crab to pick up my Connex box home and take it back up there and just leave it, because that'll be nice. True, yeah, that is a possibility. I kind of like leaving an air gap buffer in general, just because it's good to prevent pass-through damage from block deformation, right? Which is what saved the boat earlier when I slammed it sideways into the dock. I just damaged the one battery, and that was that. So I mean, it's pretty solid. And it's the battery that's attached to things. How are we doing on? No, we're still doing stuff here. Yep. Okay. So things can get full of things, more full of more things. But we have that stuff set up. So oil rig is anchored, and it is pulling things. I need to run coal out to it at some point. That's done. I need to finish setting up the pipelines. They're going to go to the ridge, and then down to the water, and then probably down through the river, and then back up over here. Eventually we'll go down through the lake, and then up over here at the port. Let's get this neat little wharf over here that's being worked on. Where eventually the bigger stuff will actually anchor up. I need to finish these two, the pylons. Got this side done. Don't have that side done yet. But that's fine. We got stuff. Can we see the oil rig from here? There's a far enough away we've got curvature issues. Oh, there it is. Well, that doesn't look right. Okay, yes. No, there are some curvature issues. That's fine. How am I doing on oh, yeah, I got plenty of hydrogen. Why are we tilted so far over? Either something really bad happened, or the water level shifted hard and we're still... No, we're fine. We might have run out of power. And something goofy's going on as a result. Did we drift? We might have drifted due to being unbalanced, and so we're hanging hard that way. No? Okay. It's not active because we're not upright enough. I may need to... Okay, I'm going to have to bring the boat out here and spread these anchor lines more. I think that's the issue. I think... I can't tell for sure, but I think the issue is we've got too much slack and they're not slid enough. Well, the issue is it's catching this anchor line. Like, I'm willing to bet, right, if we just rip this back out, we'll tip a little bit more. And this one as well. Or maybe not. Oh no, we're tilted towards the cargo. Okay. Alright, that's fine. We weren't far enough in the water. These are those green? I can't tell. Yeah, those are green. So we weren't deep enough in the water and we're a little unstable. That's fine. This is something we can work with. We can do some things here. In fact, if I just do some horrifying tug of war, pull us back just a little bit. That'll recenter us a little bit. I'll bring the boat out. I will drag this way so it stretches those anchor lines, drop new anchor lines, and let it recenter. And, I mean, it's kind of unbalanced, so that makes sense. It is starting to roll back up, so. And we are plenty buoyant still, so that's fine. That's okay. We know how this works. Things for me to clean up in between streams. You know, I don't have enough hydrogen to go investigate that. I'm pretty sure it's an Agaris heavy engineering ship up that way. But I can't be sure because I can't get visibility on it. That's fine. Stuff to investigate later. This is going to be where we leave off for tonight because this has been a week and it's not over yet. So I'm going to go sit in the quiet dark outside and take in some silence before bedtime. I'm going to look at the skybox first because I live in a city with enough light pollution that you never get to see the stars where I am. That's where we're going to leave things. I think we got some decent stuff done. We got the oil rig anchored, even though I've got to fix that. I didn't sink the boat, but I came close. I didn't blow up the crab, but I mean, we caught air at 85 miles an hour coming off a mountain. I could, but I don't want to. That's really what it comes down to is I wanted to do a floating oil rig. And this may just be a matter of I just need to make some adjustments. Like, this is the first time it's been deployed. I like the idea of it floating. Because we have the anchor mod, and I want to use the anchor mod. Because, like, it's in, 52 meters of water. It's not that deep. In real life, they would just drop pilings, and it'd be done. They wouldn't do, like, anchoring for anything that shallow. But I want to do it because it's fun, and it amuses me. So if I did make it static, I could use a pipeline to run it back and then transport the oil wouldn't matter at all. But I don't want to. So so as far as like there are some floating rigs that deploy in a water that shallow, but like they're really weird geological formation type stuff or in regions where like there's enough instability in the seafloor where they don't want to risk it. Or they just want to pick it up and move it around as necessary every other year. So I mean, like it's technically not too shallow for a floating rig, but it's real close. So yeah, so the original plan was we would have like a little blimp that would fly out and collect it and come back, and then just make regular ferry trips. But the AI blocks to control the flight don't like the balloons. They don't know how to operate with those. It's the drawback of mods sometimes. So we can't do that. So what is at the top now is a connector, and it's probably going to be replaced with a special effect block just for the smokestack. Or it'll get additional stacks, one of the two. I haven't finished greebling that one yet. And as we can tell, I need to do a little bit of balance work on it. So I might add a second tank set further out so it's wider at the bottom than it is, because it has grown taller for storage than I had originally intended. So I got some thoughts. The fact that we're going to be migrating to a boat-based transport system for the oil does change that, because I need it to be more consistent, just so I can set up automatic docking. And then that'll be that. And then the coal stuff will be done. I mean, the coal stuff is up and running. We're harvesting coal. If I had the pipelines, we'd be just stockpiling coal. So I'm in a pretty happy mood about that. Need to get some electronics over there so I can turn it on and off remotely, so we don't just end up with coal filling every single storage pocket possible. I'm staring at you, Stone, Gravel Maker. The longest cable ferry ever. Oh man, that would... Actually, I wonder what is the longest cable ferry in real life right now? I know there's like a 700 meter one over in India somewhere, right? So I wonder, because I think we're 1.5 kilometers from the nearest shore and like 3 from where we are. True, we're line big. Oh man, just cable ferry the crab. How do you get your oil? Well, we mine it from the seafloor, and then we put a giant 80-ton crab on a giant barge, and we feed it with a cable ferry line 3 kilometers across the ocean to the rig. We fill this giant metal crab full of oil and barge it back across. Oh, man. That's hilarious. And I think the problem is it'd be too hard to reset up when it gets shot with a stray artillery round. So just shy of 2 kilometers. That's pretty close. I think we might be able to get landfall about that distance. Canada. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. But that'll be where we leave things for tonight. Appreciate y'all coming out. If you watch this live, definitely appreciate it. Please feel free to give a thumbs up if it was enjoyable enough. If you're watching this after the fact, I definitely appreciate you, because you had no opportunity to interact with the insanity that is me during the stream. Back again next week, next Thursday, probably, unless if it's exhausting of a week at work as this one was, probably won't have a stream next week. But I missed last week. Didn't want to miss 2 weeks in a row, which is why we're ending a little bit early. But if things go correctly, next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, if not the week after. But appreciate y'all coming out, spending time here. Stay safe. Stay goose.